Hi guys, it's Taja and I'm here for a tutorial for this dress that I'm wearing right here. I'm also going to put in a little try on right here so you can see the dress a little bit more clearly. But I'm so excited. I made this dress at first in white for my Halloween costume, and you guys loved it so much. Everyone was asking for a tutorial, so I'm here with the tutorial. So I'm so excited to teach you guys how to make it, and I honestly can't wait to see other people make this dress and wear this dress. If you do decide to make it, I would love for you guys to tag me on Instagram at it's Taja so I can see it. I don't know, I'm so excited, so let's just get straight into the tutorial. Let's get to it. Okay, so we're gonna start off with a slip knot, and we're basically making our bra part first, so you're gonna want to chain 13. I am starting with a 5mm crochet hook for this starting chain, just to make sure that my tension is a little bit loose for this one. And after chaining 13, I'm gonna want to chain one more, so I'll have 14 stitches, and then I'm gonna switch out to the 3.75. I'm gonna skip a chain, and I'm gonna go ahead and stick my crochet hook into the back of the loop, and I'm gonna do a single crochet. After doing the single crochet, I'm going to stick my crochet hook back in that loop, as you can see here, and I'm gonna do another single crochet, and this essentially will count as one double crochet. It's called a stacked double crochet, so that's going to be the first stitch, and then after that you can go ahead and do double crochet for the rest of the row, just making sure that you're working into the back loops of the stitches. It might take a little work getting them into the back stitches. That is why you should start off with a larger crochet hook, just making it a little bit easier for yourself when you're doing this first row. But I'm going to continue to do double crochet for the entire row, and I will see you at the last stitch. So I finished the last stitch. You should have 13 stitches. Go ahead and turn your work, and we're gonna do another stacked double crochet into that first stitch. So go ahead and put a single crochet and then another single crochet on top of that single crochet to make stacked double crochet, and then go ahead and continue doing double crochet for the rest of the row. Once you get to the last stitch, we're going to start increasing, and so the increase for this bra part is going to be 5 double crochet in 1 stitch. So there you're going to make sure that you should have 13 stitches when you're coming back before you do your increase, and go ahead and look at there's going to be a V on the side, and you're going to stick 5 double crochet into that V right there that I just showed you. After you finish the 5 double crochets, go ahead and take a stitch marker and put it in the one in the middle. So it should be the 3rd double crochet from each side. After you do that, you're going to want to finish the row by putting 1 double crochet until the end of the row. So 13 more double crochets. I was struggling putting my hook into that stitch. the end of our second row, and that is pretty much kind of the pattern for the rest of the bra. So you can go ahead and flip your work again, put another stack double crochet into that first stitch, and then go ahead and do double crochet up until you get to your stitch marker. Once you get to your stitch marker, go ahead and take it out, and that's where you're going to put your 5 double crochet increase. We're going to put our stitch marker back into the middle of our increase, and then we're going to continue off the rest of our third row with 1 double crochet. And that is pretty much the pattern for the rest of the rows that you're going to complete. Personally, I am a more busty person, so I had to do 9 rows, but if you have a smaller chest, I would say that just 8 rows would suffice. So this is me just finishing up my 9th row. After I finished the row, I just went ahead and chained an extra chain and cut it off. So this is our first piece. You're just going to want to head and make another one, and you can go ahead and count the rows after the fact. This is how I count them. I have 9 rows. Like I said, if you have a smaller chest or a bigger chest, you can go ahead and adjust by making more rows or less rows. So I do want to make a side note. This next piece that I'm making it with my sentro machine. However, it is optional. If you do know how to knit or you know how to crochet but you don't have a knitting machine, I'm gonna go ahead and add 2 YouTube videos that you can use to make the piece that I made with my sentro machine, and then you can go ahead and just follow me for the rest of the dress once we get to the skirt part. So for the body piece, I'm making a tube on my Sentro knitting machine, just casting on waste yarn for the entire row, just for a couple of rows. And I will note that the tube is not that big. I am a size medium, so I would say if you're a little bit bigger than that, instead of doing 2 tubes, you would need to do 2 panels. But if you're a size medium or smaller, you can just do a single tube. So go ahead and make sure you do a few rows of waste yarn, and then after doing your waste yarn, we're gonna crank out 75 rows for the tube. And you can make your rows smaller or shorter depending on if you have a longer or smaller torso. I am a tall girl, I'm 5'7", so I imagine my torso is a little bit longer, so 75 rows was perfect for me. So go ahead and crank out these 75 rows, and then I'll go ahead and see you when we're done. Okay, so we're finally done, and now we can go ahead and add more waste yarn, crank out a couple more rows of the waste yarn, and then take the waist yarn off of the thing that feeds in the needles and crank, and it'll automatically just come off. So I'm gonna go ahead and cast off the edge with single crochet, and please make sure that your tension is loose. If it is not loose, you will basically try on your tube and it will not fit. So make sure that it's loose. I did use a 5mm hook, and go ahead and just cast off with single crochet all the way until you get to the end. Once you get to the end, go ahead and just slip stitch it to the first single crochet and take your waist yarn off, and you can go ahead and do that on both sides. Now that you cast it off on one side, go ahead and cast off on the other side. Now we have our body part, we have our tube. So this piece is going to attach to both of the bra pieces, but first we're gonna have to attach the bra pieces together. So let's go ahead and do that. So to attach your two bra pieces, you're going to start off with a slip knot, and you're essentially going to just slip stitch them together. I originally did 5 slip stitches, but it just wasn't enough coverage for me. Like I said, I am a bit on the bustier side, so I had to go back in and slip stitch like 5 more stitches after this. But after you finish stitching them together, go ahead and chain 2 and then cut your yarn. Done with our bra piece, and we can go ahead and attach the tube that we just made to this piece. Now to attach this piece, we're going to move back to our 5mm hook, and we're going to stick our needle in a couple of stitches down just because the top ones are a little loose, and we're going to stick it into the edge of the bra part. And the first stitch is going to be a slip stitch. After slip stitching, go ahead and chain 1, and then the rest of the row to stitch them together are going to be double crochets. Together, make sure that you're going through each knit stitch for the tube and then each of those double crochets for the bra part. So it'll start to look something like this. I'm going to go ahead and meet you at the end of our row. Okay, so this is pretty much it. This is pretty much how it'll look. After doing your last double crochet, you're gonna just want to chain 2 and cut your yarn, and that is pretty much, we're halfway done with the dress. part, which is making the tutu skirt. So I'm starting with my 5mm hook. I already stuck it into the back and started to chain 3, and I'm gonna basically go through each loop and do 1 double crochet for this entire row. Make sure that you're sticking your hook a couple of stitches down on the panel, just because the bottom stitches are really loose and you don't want it to look funky or anything like that. So yeah, let's go ahead and work 1 double crochet in each stitch, and I'll go ahead and meet you at the end of our row. Okay, so now we're at the last stitch of the row, and when you finish your last double crochet, go ahead and slip stitch it together. Slip stitch it to the top of the chain 3 that you made for that row. Go ahead and chain 3, but don't flip your work for this row only. After chaining 3, go ahead and double crochet in that same space. Then go ahead and put 9 double crochet after that, and on the 10th one you're going to want to increase with 1 extra double crochet, so 2 double crochets in 1 stitch every 10th. So this is my 10th stitch right here, and I'm going to put 2 double crochets into that same spot. And then I'm going to continue on with 9 more double crochet and then 2 double crochets on the 10th one. And that's going to be the pattern for the entire second row. 2 double crochets in every 10th stitch. Once you finish the last double crochet, go ahead and slip stitch it to the top of your chain 3. So that's our second row. For the third row, you're going to want to chain 3 and flip your work. And we're not going to put another double crochet in that same spot. We're just going to put a double crochet in that next available stitch, and we're going to continue with the exact same pattern as row 2. 1 double crochet, but 2 double crochets in every 10th spot. This skirt part might get a little bit confusing, so I am going to add a written breakdown in the comments. So this is me getting to that 10th stitch and putting 2 double crochets. So now that we're at the end of row 3, go ahead and slip stitch the top of that chain 3 right there, and that is the end of row 3. Now we can go on to row 4. So go ahead and chain 3. Every row you're going to start with a chain 3, flip your work, and this row is going to be a little bit different. This row is going to be 4 double crochet and then 2 double crochet on every 5th spot instead of every 10th spot like the last one. So the chain 3 counted as 1 double crochet, so I'm going to do 3 more, and then on that 5th one we're going to go ahead and put 2 double crochet like I did here. And so that's going to be the pattern for the entire row 4. 1 double crochet for 4 stitches, and on the 5th stitch we're going to do 2 double crochets. as you can see here, you can see 4 double crochets in between the increases. So I'm at the end of row 4, and you know the deal. Go ahead and attach it with a slip stitch to that top of that chain 3. Chain 3 and turn your work, and row 5 is going to be pretty similar to row 4. The only difference is for the first stitch, we're going to go ahead and stick it into that same stitch that we made our chain 3, and that'll count as our 2 double crochet. So now it's the exact same thing as the last row. Go ahead and do 1 double crochet for 4 stitches, and every 5th stitch put 2 double crochet like I did here. I just wanted to note that this skirt part doesn't have to be the most perfect thing in the world, and that's what I think makes it fun. If you forget to increase, okay. If you add an extra increase, okay. It doesn't matter, it's still gonna look good at the end. So I'm at the end of my row, and of course I'm just gonna slip stitch it to the top of the chain 3. So that was basically row 5. Rows 6 through 11 are gonna be the easiest thing ever. You just put 1 double crochet in each stitch. No increases this time, just 1 double crochet. The only difference is once I get to row 8, I am gonna use a bigger crochet hook. So I'm gonna finish up these 2 rows and I'll meet you there. I just finished row 7. I left a little space and I'm using a different crochet hook. This is going to be a 6mm crochet hook before I chain 3. So chain 3, and this row we're just going to do 1 double crochet for rows 8, 9, 10, and 11. Super easy. So I'm going to go ahead and finish the rest of these 4 rows and I'll meet you there. So I finished 11 rows for the skirt, and now that we're done with that, I'm gonna go ahead and chain 2, cut my yarn, and that is it for the first layer of our skirt. Now we can start on our second layer, which is only gonna have 4 rows. So this is beginning of the row 12. So you're gonna make a slip knot and you're gonna attach it to the 10th row that you did. You're gonna stick your hook in the bottom of the double crochet that you did. Go ahead and chain 3. And instead of doing double crochets for this row, we're gonna do 1 triple crochet in each of those stitches. Easy enough, just 1 triple crochet in each stitch. So I'm gonna go ahead and finish this row, and then I'll meet you at the end of my row. Once you're done with your last triple crochet, go ahead and slip stitch it to the top of the chain 3, and you're basically done with row 12. Now you can go ahead and chain 3 and turn your work, and we're moving back to double crochet. We're going back. but this is going to be the last row that you do any increases. So double crochet into that same spot that you made the chain 3 in. And for this row, we're going back to the pattern of 9 double crochets in a row, and then on every 10th we'll do the increase of 2 double crochets. So here I'm doing my increase on my 10th one, and that's pretty much going to be the entirety of this row 13. So I'll meet you at the end of the row. So I already finished row 13 and now I'm on to row 14. I'm going to go ahead and chain 3 and then put 1 double crochet in each stitch. So that's going to be the entirety of row 14 and 15. You can add more rows if you want to make this dress a little bit longer, but I like the length where it's at, so I'm just stopping at the 15th row. So I'll go ahead and see you when I'm finished. So I just finished the 15th row. Of course, I'm slip stitching into the top of the chain 3, chaining an extra 2, and then cutting my yarn. And this is our skirt part. We're pretty much almost done with the dress. This is me going back to slip stitch a little bit more space right there, just because, like I said in the beginning, the fit just wasn't giving for my bust size. So I just went ahead and did a few more slip stitches to close it out. So now we just have the straps to do. I'm making my straps on my Sentro knitting machine, but you can also hand knit or crochet the straps if you'd like. So right now I'm in panel mode and I'm casting on with waste yarn to the 20th hook. After doing a few rows of the waste yarn, you can go ahead and add your working yarn now and go ahead and crank for 4 rows. So now we're going to start to decrease on the 5th row. So stop right before the stitch that you want to decrease and take your yarn off of the last needle. Sometimes you have to force it off, but make sure you don't break your machine. Go ahead and take that stitch that you have and put it on the needle right next to it. And like I said, you will sometimes have to force it on, but put it on the needle right next to it and work till the end of your row. So now your last stitch, instead of 20, at this time it'll be 19, and you're gonna do that on each side. So it's gonna be the same thing for the right side. Stop right before that last hook, take it off, put it on the needle right next to it, and that is your new end of the row. So So if you're using a sentro or if you're hand knitting, you're just going to want to decrease on either every side until you have 3 stitches left. You can also go ahead and crochet this part too. You would just start off with a chain as long as you want your strap to be, and do 4 rows, and then start decreasing on each side after every row until you have 1 row left. Then you can start a chain. Here now I've basically decreased until I have 3 stitches left, and so I'm just gonna work those 3 stitches for 100 rows. It doesn't have to be 100 rows. If you would like your straps a little bit more longer, you can make it longer than 100 rows. If you want them to be shorter, you can also make them shorter than 100 rows, but I made mine 100 rows. After a long arm workout of 100 rows, you're just gonna take the yarn off of the feeder and put in waste yarn, and then do a few rows of waste yarn. Then just take your waste yarn out of the feeder and crank it until the yarn just falls off. So now we're going to cast off with single crochet. On the other side of the strap as well. Yay, so we have our first strap. I'm gonna make another one and meet you when we need to stitch them together. So I made both straps, and now I'm going back in with my 3.75 millimeter hook and just sticking it into the first space of our strap, and then I'm gonna attach that to the side of our bra. You're just going to want to slip stitch them together until you get to the end of your row. So now that I did my last slip stitch, I'm gonna chain 2 and cut my yarn, and that is how we attach the straps. So I'm gonna attach the other strap to the other side, and that's pretty much that. Okay, so I'm so excited. I went ahead and attached the straps to both sides, and I crocheted a little chain, tied it into a bow, and I'm just gonna attach this to the front as a cute little detail. But that is pretty much our dress. I'm gonna go ahead and attach this bow, weave in all my ends, and then I'll come back with the finished product. Okay, so I put the bow on. I weaved in all the ends, and this is the finished look of the dress. I'm gonna go here and put it on the side so that you could see a little bit more clearly, but yeah, that's it. I'm so excited to see you guys make it and post it, and hopefully this tutorial was easy and you were able to follow along with it. This is my first tutorial, so I'm sorry if things don't make sense. If they don't make sense, you can always DM me on Instagram at it's Taja, and I'll be glad to you know, give a little bit more clarification. But I hope you guys like the tutorial and everything. So yeah, just subscribe. I will be posting more tutorials on here, so you can go ahead and subscribe. Follow me on Instagram at it's Taja. Follow me on TikTok, it's.taja. And yeah, I love you guys so much. I can't wait to see it. Bye.